YouTube friends, welcome back to another episode of Auntie A's Kitchen. My name's Amanda. I'm just a regular home cook who loves sharing with people simple and delicious recipes that you can cook here in South Korea using South Korean ingredients. If you're new to the channel, hi there. 안녕하세요. Welcome to everybody wherever you are watching. I hope you're having a fantastic week. Today, as the thumbnail suggests, I'm excited to share with you some traditional English rock cakes. If you have never had these before or never seen them or tasted them, they're very similar to a scone and a biscuit. Put this together and you have the most delicious English rock cake. Today we're going to be making fruit rock cakes, as these are my favorite to eat and to make. They get their name rock cake. As you pull them out of the oven, they look like little mini rocks. They are so delicious. Please don't take my word for it. Make sure that you now take this recipe, make it yourself, and once you've made them, don't forget to drop me a comment and let me know what you think. And in fact, if you like this recipe, don't forget to check out, while you're here, some of my scone recipes. I have a very popular walnut and cranberry recipe for the classic English scone, cheese scones that are great with tomato soup. And for those of you who live in South Korea, Starbucks does a triangle fruit scone, and I even have a recipe for that. So today, let me share with you some traditional English rock cakes in South Korea. Start with placing your flour and salt into your mixing bowl. Next, I measure out and cut up some cold butter into cubes, as this will be easier to use. Before I mix this together, I add some baking powder and seasoning. The seasoning is an optional extra, but it will elevate the flavour. I pick up most of my spices from Home Plus or Emart, and my special spices I order online from iHerb. If you don't have any spices available, then just use some orange or lemon zest. Using the same technique as when making scones, rub the butter and flour between your fingertips until it is fully incorporated. Eventually, the flour and butter will combine and change to a yellow colour, and it will resemble breadcrumbs in texture. You only need 1 egg for this recipe, so I whisk it up and then get on with measuring my dried fruit. Today I'm using cranberries and raisins. I like to add a splash of vanilla essence before I add the sugar and the other dry ingredients. Have fun with this recipe, adding different fruit and nut combinations. Once all of the dried ingredients are finally mixed, I add the wet ingredients, the egg, and 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. You'll notice today that I add 3 tablespoons of milk, as you want to end up with a sticky mixture. This is very important, as this will form the rough surface that gives these rock cakes their name. A quick tip: when you mix all of your ingredients together, if it is too dry, then just add another splash of milk. On a baking tray covered with baking paper, I add a spoon of rock cake mixture. I like to make smaller rock cakes, but if you want to make bigger, then just add more mixture. Make sure to leave a little space in between each rock cake, as they will spread a little as they cook in the oven. I didn't mention earlier, but because rock cakes are so quick to prepare, I usually make sure I get my oven preheating before I start prepping the ingredients, 170°C. Once my baking tray is loaded, I put them straight into my preheated oven and set the timer for 15 minutes so I don't get distracted. Depending on your oven, you might need to leave them a little longer. You're looking for a golden brown colour. I leave them on the tray for about 5 minutes before placing them on the cooling rack so that I can prepare my second batch. I then repeat exactly the same procedure that you saw earlier until I've used up all of my mixture. If you are not confident with baking, then this is a great recipe to get you started, because making rock cakes not only uses simple ingredients, but they're easy to make. So here we have some delicious English rock cakes filled with dried fruit, a classic cake to serve at tea time. Interestingly enough, rock cakes are also known as rock buns depending on where you live in England. They're easy to make and delicious to eat. I know that your family and friends are going to love these. These rock cakes are light and crumbly to eat, and they are best when they are warm and fresh out of the oven. All the measurement for today's recipe can be found in the description below. Thanks for dropping in today. Please don't forget to hit that like button. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great week. God bless. Chokbokhamnida.